Okay, we're going to start talking about elasticity of demand. And what this is the way consumers respond to a change in price. How drastically will buyers cut back or increase their quantity demand for a good when the price increases or falls? So all that means is if we change the price and people respond, well, they don't really respond to that. They continue to buy um, at the same rate they did before, whether it's an increase or decrease. That's said to have an inelastic supply. If there's a large change in the quantity demanded when we change the price, then it's said to be elastic. So actually think of a piece of elastic. When you have a change in price, are we going to see it change a lot, or are we just going to see it change a little? So what we have here are two demand curves, downward sloping because of the law of demand, but this one is price inelastic and this one is price elastic. So what we need to look at here, when we change the price here, we go from this point to this point. So you can see if all the numbers are the same going up on price and over on quantity. By changing the price fairly significantly percentage-wise, or even if it's small, we have an even smaller change in the percent of quantity demanded. So we have a change here with very little change down here, inelastic. But over here we can see this distance between our change in price. But look how it's affected the quantity demanded. We see a fairly significant change in the quantity demanded. So when something's elastic, it moves a lot. If something is inelastic, it doesn't move a lot. So we're saying when you change the price, how does that affect the quantity demanded? A little or a lot? Three ways to determine elasticity. The first one, we're going to look at the formula, and we'll look at each one of these individually here in a second. But the formula to calculate price elasticity of demand is the percent change in quantity demanded divided by the percent change in price. Then we're going to look at characteristics, number of substitutes, the percentage of your budget, and necessity versus luxury, and how much time do you have to make adjustments. And then we're going to look at total revenue and how that affects it. First one, we're going to look at the formula. If it's greater than 1, demand is price elastic. So what I have here are prices and quantities. Here's our original price. We lowered it to $3. So to calculate the percent change, we're going to take the original, subtract the new, then divide it by the original. So we have a 25% change in price. And these are our quantities. How did that change in price affect our quantities? Our original quantity demanded was 10, our new is 20. We're going to divide that by the original, and that will give us 100%. And our formula is quantity demanded divided by, or the percent change in quantity demanded divided by the percent change in price. And here we have it equals to 4. So if it is greater than 1, it is price elastic. Less than 1, it's price inelastic. We're not seeing a very significant change. Again, we have the original price of 6, our new price of 2 divided by our original, so we have a change in price of 67%. Here we have our original quantity and our new quantity divided by our original, and that's going to give us 50. We are not going to use the negative sign. These are going to be absolute values, so just get rid of negative signs. So we have a situation where our quantity demanded changed by 50% and our price changed by 67%, which comes to 0.5. So we see that it's less than 1, so it is price inelastic. And then we'll do some of these in class, but if it ends up being equal to 1, it's said to be unit or unitary. So greater than 1 is price elastic, less than 1 is inelastic, and equal to 1 is unit or unitary elastic. Factors that we're going to look at, if it has an elastic demand, there's going to be lots of substitutes for it. So anything that you go out and purchase and they change the price a little, you're just like, I won't buy that. I'll buy it substitute. If it's a large portion of your budget, if you are already spending $30,000 to go out and purchase a new car, if they increase that price by 5%, even though 5% sounds like a small amount since it's already $30,000, that can really add up and actually price that car right out of your budget. Is this a luxury item? Same thing. Brand new car is a luxury item. My trip to St. Lucia, a luxury item. They change that by a small percentage. That might price us right out of the market. Time to make adjustments. If I have time to make adjustments, if it's in the middle of summer and my furnace breaks down, then I have the whole entire summer to try and figure out what I'm going to do. But right now, if my furnace goes out, I have no time to make any adjustments for that. Those things that have an inelastic demand are just the opposite of this. If there are few, if any, substitutes, look at gas. There are few, if any, substitutes. So they raise the price, we continue to buy. If it's a small portion of your budget, an example of this usually they give is table salt. Table salt for a Morton's container of that is like 60, 70 cents. If they increase the price by 100%, now it's $1.20, $1.40. We will continue to buy it. Is it a necessity in your budget? If you are diabetic and you need insulin, it doesn't matter if they raise the price, you will continue to purchase that. And no time to make adjustments. Just like I said, right now if people's furnaces go out, or we've seen what has happened to the price of kerosene, people are going without food, people are wondering whether they should make their house payment, but they have to heat their homes. And the final one is total revenue. Total revenue is calculated by taking the price of the product and then just multiplying that times the quantity demanded. So it is price times quantity. This is what a business is going to calculate to see how much money they have coming in. When price and total revenue move in opposite directions, the demand is said to be price elastic. And so what that means, once again, think about the movement in our quantity demanded. We would anticipate to make more money if we raise the price. But what happens if you actually make less money? That means you lost people. Your quantity demanded actually went down sufficiently enough that now you're making less money. So your change in price had a significant change in your quantity demanded, price elastic. In the same situation, if you lower your price, a lot of people would think that you're going to lose money, but if you gain a lot in quantity demanded because you lower the price, they're moving in opposite directions, then the price or the demand is elastic. And the same situation with inelastic. If price and total revenue move in the same direction, inelastic means we're not going to see a significant bump either up or down in our quantity demanded. So if it's inelastic, you increase the price, and people are going to continue to buy it. You're not going to lose very much because of the law of demand. We're going to increase the price. We might lose a few, but we're not going to lose very many, so we're actually going to make more money in terms of total revenue. If we decrease the price, our quantity demand is going to go up, but it's going to go up so little that we're actually not going to see any bump in quantity demanded. So when price goes down, our total revenue is actually going to go down also. I want to show you two different demand curves here. I showed you the first two, one that was relatively inelastic and one that was relatively elastic. What we have here is what's called perfectly elastic. And what this means, if you change the price, your quantity demanded changes completely. So we have a situation here with commodities. And commodities are those things that it doesn't matter who you purchase them from, they're exactly the same. If we look down the road at Treaty, at that pile of corn, it doesn't matter who supplies it, it's all exactly the same. And when they pull that up there, pull their trucks up there, they are told how much we will give you. So that would be this price here. We will take everything you have at this price. If they ask to go 1 penny higher, they will not purchase it. The quantity demanded goes to zero. But as a farmer, you wouldn't offer it for less because this is the price that they're offering. So this is perfectly elastic. You have no say in what the price is whatsoever. And if you try to increase the price, the quantity demanded goes to zero. And when you try to decrease the price, which you wouldn't do, you're not going to offer that. The next one is perfectly inelastic, and the example that they usually give for perfectly inelastic is table salt. So it doesn't matter what the price is, we're going to continue to buy at the same amount. Table salt is perfectly inelastic because, once again, it's 60 cents. If they increase it by 100%, when I run out of salt, my quantity demanded will be the same. If they raise it 200%, 300%, 400%. It really doesn't matter because over that range of prices, we will continue to buy the same amount. Now, there will come a time, if they raise it 10 million%, obviously if we could price ourselves out of table salt, but because it's such a small amount of our budget and everyone uses it, it tends to be perfectly inelastic.